This series contains adult language and descriptions of graphic violence. Listener discretion is advised. Welcome back to Death by Southwest, the podcast where each week I share a different grisly murder story unique to the American Southwest, while my sister and co-host tries to piece together the clues and unravel the mystery behind each of these heinous crimes. I'm your host, Margot.
And I'm Jenna.
And we are here for part 2 of Stan Farr and Andrea Wilborn. We're going to recap that a little bit for you guys, but since we don't have a sense of place, we already did sense of place.
In part 1.
And so I think that we don't need to do sense of place again. Sense of place in part 1 was Fort Worth.
They've sensed the place.
They have sensed the place. So we didn't want to have no intro, kind of. It's good to have a little light warm up before we get into the real darkness of the episode. So I have, as always, some trivia questions, kind of across the board, actually. But
what's across the board?
Like the trivia questions, like we've done a lot of the serial killer true crime stuff.
It's just trivia, period.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, I have some trivia about crime movies. I have some trivia about Southwest cities. And I have some trivia about, I typed this into ChatGPT. Can I have 10 trivia questions and answers about the shows Dexter, Breaking Bad, and 6 Feet Under?
Oh, yeah, I love all those shows.
Yeah, that's what I figured.
My answers may not reflect how much I love them, though, because I have a bad TV movie memory.
That's okay.
Well,
that's
yeah,
fine. We won't hold it against you.
It's okay if you do, too.
And then we will recap a little bit of last week's episode where we left off so that we can kind of gently release you back into the part 2.
That's right.
Yeah. We're recording this on Monday at Jenna's house. Michael is listening to some Beatles in the background. So if you catch a little Beatles.
Shocking.
Not
literally shocking.
So if you guys catch a little Beatles in the background, that's what that is.
Guess what happened during dinner for his dad last night? Beatles. Nice and low on the TV, YouTube.
Sure.
Astronaut.
Stars.
It's
like a moon man that you have, kind of.
Yeah, it's an astronaut.
Yeah. And projects that like entire galaxy on your ceiling. Yeah. Very cool.
Yeah.
All right. Do we have anything else to catch up on? I don't think I have any like reviews. We've gotten a couple of sweet reviews lately, but beyond that, I don't want to bore people with that at the beginning of the episode. So I don't think that I have too much else to talk about. We'll just jump into some of this trivia stuff before we get back into one of my favorite episodes ever.
Part 2.
Part 2, yes. We're going to do a wide range of trivia. I'm going to pick and choose a few from each of these several trivia categories that I have. So the first category is, I think I typed into ChatGPT, can you give me 10 questions about movies based on crime and the actors within those movies? Okay. Question 1 for you. Who played the lead role of Michael Corleone in the crime epic The Godfather?
Everyone could hear that. Obviously I know it, but like, this is what I'm saying. Like, if I don't immediately know some kind of trivia shit, I'm all, there goes my mind. That's why you may have to just scrap all this and say,
no intro.
No bone or no intro. Yeah. I like Godfather, but it's not like, some people are like, Godfather.
No, me either.
Of course I know it is, but I can't get there.
Okay. Well, in case you couldn't hear what I said, I was trying to mouth to Jenna, Al Pacino. Okay. Which movie stars Kevin Spacey and centers around 5 criminals who plan a heist?
It's the one where they all stand in line and they're getting that photo, the Usual Suspects.
Yes. Very good. Very good. Yeah. I was going to say Stephen Baldwin's in that. Yeah. Okay. What is the character's name of the iconic hitman played by John Travolta in Pulp Fiction?
I knew you were going there. I knew you were going there. I'll never get it.
It's so hard.
My favorite scene, though, well, how about I supplement with that?
Sure.
When he's sitting with Uma Thurman at the cafe or whatever, and there's all the like celebrity lookalike waiters and waitresses, and she wants to order the $5. Is it a hamburger or milkshake?
Something,
either one.
Yeah.
I don't know his name. I honestly don't.
Vincent Vega.
Oh, that's a cool name. Alliteration.
Yep. In The Silence of the Lambs, what actor played the role of cannibalistic serial killer Dr. Hannibal Lecter?
Well, it's him. I'm all Jodie Foster's partner in that. Not
I'm
partner.
going to give you a clue.
I mean, I know his name.
It starts with an A. Nicole's son is named this.
Anthony Hopkins.
Very good. I got one more actor one for you.
That's fine. Yeah.
Who played the role of mobster Frank Costello in the Martin Scorsese directed crime drama The Departed? Frank Costello. He was like Leonardo DiCaprio's like handler.
He's the guy that's in all the Ben Stiller funny movies. He's the dad in that?
No.
Fuck.
Here's Johnny in The Shining.
Love that guy. I'm sorry, I can't with names.
Jack Nicholson.
I love that movie.
Yeah.
Well, I like The Departed. I
I
love
love The Departed and The Shining.
I love The Shining.
I looked up today trivia questions about 3 shows that I know you've seen and I know you like.
I like them.
Dexter, Breaking Bad, and 6 Feet Under. All kind of crime-ish.
Which is your favorite?
It's a Sophie's choice between Breaking Bad and 6 Feet Under for me.
Okay.
I don't know. What city is Dexter set in?
Miami.
Yes, very good.
Yeah.
What is the name of the actor who played Dexter Morgan? He also played
In 6 Feet Under. Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, I know him well.
Yes.
I don't know. Michael?
Yes.
That's all I got.
C.
Hall.
Yes. Wow.
Michael
Sorry.
C. Hall.
Yeah, very good.
That is
Very
shocking
good.
for me that I even got Michael.
That was really good. What is the name of the drug kingpin that Walter White faces off against in Breaking Bad? And I know I read that question. I was like, he faces off over a ton of different kingpins, but this is the one who has the chicken franchise.
I was just gonna say the guy in the now is it the black guy at the chicken? Yeah,
Yep.
I don't know his name, but I can picture him well.
Yes. Gus Fring.
Gus Fring?
Gus Fring. Gustavo Fring.
Oh, Gustavo. Yeah,
Yeah,
that rings it.
How about
What's the chicken place called? Cluck Cluck Chicken? No, it's
Los Pollos.
Los Pollos. Okay.
Los Pollos Hermanos.
You know what this reminds me of also?
Los Pollos
Have any of you guys
Hermanos.
seen Lost and Hurley?
Yes.
When they go back to his real life before he gets on the plane?
Oh, and he works at that. Yep, that's right.
Chicken place.
Very good. Who plays the actor of Jesse Pinkman? It's a tough
I
one.
love that guy.
I do too.
Also, the best scene is like the bathtub when they put the body
And
they
it
put
falls through the ceiling.
Oh,
Yeah, it's great. Aaron Paul.
Yes, with 2 A's.
Yeah.
Well, I guess most males are named with 2 A's, not ER. Okay.
What is the name of the mortuary where 6 Feet Under basically takes place? I'm going to give you a clue because it is the family's last name. So Claire, Nate, David, Ruth.
Look at you. And maybe we should be flip-flopping and I should be asking you these. Okay. Fisher.
Yes, Fisher and Sons. Yes. Yeah.
Do we have any that are not name the person or the actor?
Not about those shows, but we're going to do that next time because I love those shows. You're going to get these though.
Yeah.
Are you ready?
Sure.
Which city in Arizona is known for its red rock formations and is a center for alternative and new age culture?
I mean, did we just take a hard right?
Hard left.
Sedona?
Yes, Sedona.
Hard left.
Yeah. Which New Mexico city is famous for its hot air balloon festival that takes place every October and is also the setting for Breaking Bad?
Albuquerque.
Yes. Look at you go.
Yeah. See, I'm better at let's not speak too soon, Jenna.
Which Arizona city is home to the largest university in the United States by enrollment?
Well, it's either Tempe or Tucson.
Yep.
So by enrollment, I'm gonna give my best guess. By enrollment, Tucson.
Tempe.
Oh, fuck.
ASU.
You know what's also interesting about Tempe?
Nothing.
I kind of like Tempe. I don't love Phoenix and the surrounding areas, but
Tempe.
Tempe
Phoenix.
is like tempeh, like vegetarians.
Like kind of like that tofu stuff.
Yeah, I don't love tempeh.
I don't either. Which Arizona town is famous for the Grand Canyon and is a popular tourist destination?
I mean, northern Arizona is popular
Yeah, I mean,
for
like the Grand Canyon is not in this town, but like
Flagstaff?
yes.
I mean, but it's not.
I know.
It's like an hour away.
I know. Which Colorado city is known for its historic train ride and its location in the San Juan Mountains?
Fort Collins.
Good guess. Durango. Okay. Which Texas city is located on the border with Mexico? On the border of Mexico and is known for its vibrant Hispanic culture?
El Paso.
Yes. Very good. That's it.
Wow, I really like these.
Well, you nailed
listeners
the
are gonna
city
be
ones.
like,
You nailed the
"Whoa."
geography ones.
Yeah, I'm not good at names. I mean, I'm not good at a lot of things, I'm sure, but I'm not good at names.
Well, those were a lot of names. You're totally right. The one other piece of news I have is that there is a mouse in Mark's house.
Thank God Mark doesn't listen to
He
this
does.
podcast.
He does, but not. He's way he has not listened for a while, and I don't think he has ever listened to a bonus episode. So, this isn't a bonus episode. This is an intro. Fuck.
Actually, I was going to say he'll see it at some point, but probably he won't. Are you going to tell him ever, you think?
No.
Maybe if you see like them coming a lot.
Well, if we're getting overtaken by mice, maybe. Yeah. But I was working today and I saw him run from under the fridge.
It was cute.
To under the stove. And then he popped his head out under the stove looking out like, is anybody around?
I mean, were you waiting? Like
no.
Because that was
I was just
that was a
sitting
great
working.
photo.
It's a cute mouse. So now not only is it Henry, Izzy, Indiana, and myself living at Mark's, now we have the mouse in the house as well.
Which probably indicates more mice in house.
Yeah.
Which, that doesn't bother me.
It doesn't bother me either.
If I was living there even, it doesn't bother me.
No, it doesn't bother me at all. Well, I'm not telling Mark because I don't want him to kill it.
Right.
Okay, so we're going to jump back into the story of the murder of Stan Farr and Andrea Wilborn, which were considered some of the most heinous crimes of the 20th century. Took place in the 70s. These crimes left 2 people dead and 2 severely injured, and has been even compared to the Manson murders in terms of the brutality. Oof. So in part 1, we started to uncover the twisted tale of excessive wealth, passionate adultery, and cold-blooded killings. Although I'm not sure we even got to the killings in part 1. I can't remember, which is why
I don't think we did. I think we got like, right, looking over the ledge.
I think what we ended with was what I'm about to tell you was called like one of the most major things to happen to Fort Worth since the railroad or something like that. Like it was really just unforgettable murders. So we're going to play you a little clip of the last few minutes of the last episode, just to kind of put you guys back in the scene. And then we'll just dive right back into the episode.
Here's the clip, guys.
Enjoy. And
if you don't know where you are, go back to
episode 19.
Yeah, episode 19, part 1 of Stan Farr.
Totally.
And rewind or fast forward and get
there
your
you
little...
Get your bearings. That's right.
Yay.
And all the while, kind of the divorce proceedings between Priscilla and Cullen were increasingly acrimonious. They were just terrible. And Priscilla was apparently told friends that she had a bad feeling. She had a feeling that bad things were going to happen. She even hired extra security for the mansion. And in July, she contacted a private detective to investigate the security system, make sure it was working properly. Another friend said that Priscilla was having ominous premonitions. She just felt like something bad was going to happen. And on August 2nd, 1976, something bad did happen. D Magazine dubbed what I'm about to tell you, what happened on the night of August 2nd, as the biggest goddamn thing to happen to Fort Worth since the railroad. I mean, that's big. Since the railroad? I don't know if that's actually true.
I mean, I know the railroad. It's just so out of my realm of like.
It's just such a long time ago.
I know that the railroad was like a huge, innovative thing.
Huge.
And also, I can't immediately have a response because it's like, okay, the railroad. But
yes,
of course it was.
Agreed.
Yeah.
It's a little far removed. However,
we're going back to the 70s.
That's right. I love the 70s. I feel like I should have been born in the 70s. But that's neither here nor there. We're gonna go back to August 2nd, 1976. The night of August 2nd, 1976, Stan and Priscilla went out to dinner at the old Swiss house to celebrate Priscilla's divorce being finalized earlier that day. And after dinner, they headed out to the Rangoon Racket Club for some drinks with friends. And while they were out, they left Priscilla's youngest daughter, Andrea, at home alone at the mansion, which is what it was called at this point, the mansion.
How old was Andrea at that time? Do you know?
12.
Okay.
She was 12 years old. And
so that's like a reasonable age to leave a child alone.
Totally.
We'll be home in a few hours. You
Absolutely.
watch TV, eat all the snacks, whatever. Yeah.
And her older brother and sister, her older brother and her older half-sister, Dee. So Dee was 18. That's her half-sister from Priscilla's first relationship / marriage. And I don't know how old the older brother was, but his name is Jackie, named after his dad, Jack.
And older than
12.
Andrea.
Right.
Yeah.
So they were both out that night. They were supposed to be staying over at friends' houses. So Andrea was just planning to be home alone. So it was around midnight when Stan and Priscilla returned back to the mansion. Stan got out to unlock the massive iron gates at the front of the mansion off of Hulen Lane. And him and Priscilla went up the hill towards the garage. Priscilla was greeted by a pack of 5 dogs as she looked through her purse for the key to the front door.
Were those her 5 dogs?
Apparently.
Okay. I'm all, because if they weren't, that'd be scary to be greeted by 5 dogs.
Be weird. Yeah. But as she was looking for her key, her attention was drawn to something else. The security panel inside the house. So I think these were glass doors that she was trying to go through so she could see inside. The security panel lights were on, which indicated that a door at the home had been opened. So remember, prior to this, she was very paranoid. She was feeling like something was going to happen. She increased security. The mansion had a state-of-the-art, like top-of-the-line security system at this point. But when she was looking for the key, she noticed that the light on the security system and whatever light it was, she recognized that it meant that someone had opened a door while they were away. So they left.
In motion.
Right. They locked Andrea in and something had been opened.
Ugh. A woman's intuition.
Yep.
Even before that, that's what I mean.
She knew.
Not that little light or dingy light that let her know that movement had happened, but like before that, ominous feeling, a woman's intuition, a woman's intuition, and maybe that's a human's intuition too.
Sure.
But
so they'd been gone for about 3.5 hours, and she thought, well, maybe in that time, maybe Andrea opened a door, or maybe Dee, her eldest daughter, had come home, just decided to come home from her friend's house. So she thought, no big deal. Her and Stan went inside. Once inside, Stan made his way upstairs to the master bedroom, and Priscilla ventured into the kitchen to start turning off some of the lights that had been left on. It was when Priscilla was in the kitchen that she noticed a glow coming from the basement door and thought, why is the light on in the basement? And then she walked over and quickly noticed a bloody handprint smudged on the front of the basement door.
don't miss what happens next in today's episode. We'll be right back after a short message from our sponsors. So somewhere from the kitchen when she was behind the counter, let's say, that's how I'm picturing it, like turning off the lights, closing shit down, and she glances over, and from somewhere in the kitchen-ish area, she can see a door to the basement, which isn't that uncommon, right? So she can see a door to the basement, and maybe that little light under the door.
Yep. She's like, why is that light on? So she started to head over there, and then she saw the bloody handprint. And initially, she thought, I'm going to go down there. And then, thank goodness, she thought, no, I'm not going to go down there. So she called out for Stan. Stan, where are you? He didn't answer. And she thought, maybe he didn't hear me. So she started walking towards the staircase that went upstairs because he had gone upstairs to the bedroom. Mm-hmm. And before she made it to the staircase, suddenly a man emerged from the laundry room. He was dressed in all black, and he wore a black woman's wig on his head. Both of his hands were concealed inside of black plastic bags. And even though he looked super weird and peculiar, he saw Priscilla and said, hi. And then he immediately fired a bullet straight into her chest.
Oh.
The gunshot echoed throughout the entire house, which caused Stan to obviously quickly run downstairs to investigate what had happened. As he was coming down the stairs, he came in contact with this man dressed in all black. The man dressed in all black immediately shot Stan in the neck. But Stan, being 6'10", very strong, physically fit, he didn't go down. And he fought this guy. He immediately attacked him and tried to wrestle the gun away. But the man dressed in all black couldn't be taken down. Stan couldn't get the gun away. And the man shot Stan 3 additional times, ultimately killing him. Priscilla was laying within visual distance. Like, she could see Stan. She could see this all happening. She'd just been shot in the chest. She was alive, but she was injured badly.
I think I knew she didn't die because she wasn't one of the people that you mentioned at the very beginning.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So she saw Stan get shot in the neck, fight the killer, and then go down. And then watched Stan hit the ground. And after Stan hit the ground, the intruder decided to drag Stan's body by the ankles out of that area where they were and into the kitchen. So with this killer seemingly out of sight, Priscilla thought, this is my chance to escape. So she stumbled. She's, shot, but she's stumbling towards the sliding glass door that led to this courtyard at their house. And she managed to kind of shove it open with her shoulder. And she was wearing a floor-length denim skirt. And she took it, pulled it up, and wrapped it around her chest to kind of stop the bleeding on the wound.
Smart.
And took off running. She was very badly injured, but she knew this was her only chance to survive.
And she I have no idea. I've never obviously been in any of these situations, but I think she knew it, but not logically. It was instinctual.
Fight or flight. Yep.
There she goes. Good for her.
So as she made her way away from the house, she's running as quickly as she can, considering she's been shot in the chest. And she turned to look back towards the house as she's running away. And she immediately caught a glimpse of the man in all black quickly walking towards her as she's trying to run away. And by turning and looking back at him, it caused her to stumble and she fell on the ground.
See, she got sidetracked. She got distracted.
Yep. And she fell flat on her face on the ground. And she was scrambling to get back up. But before she could, the man was on top of her, grabbed her, pulled her up, and was carrying her back to the house. She was pleading with him, please let me go. Please, you're hurting me. Please let me go. Please let me go. And the man, all he said was, come on, come on. Apparently in a very calm voice. And he dragged her, half carried her back inside. When both Priscilla and this intruder heard a vehicle pulling up on the gravel into the property on the driveway. The intruder immediately dropped Priscilla to the ground right outside that same sliding glass door that she had originally escaped from. And he headed back inside the house looking for a way to sneak out to the driveway. It was
someone was coming up. He thought, I don't know who this is. I got to get out of here.
Exactly. And it was a very intricate house. I'll try and post some pictures. But where they were going in, the driveway is kind of on the other side of this separating wall. So they could hear it, but they couldn't see it. And so he dropped her and went back into the house, trying to find a way that he could sneak up on the people whoever had just pulled into the driveway. Priscilla, being left once again alone, suddenly became panicked that the person that was pulling up in the driveway might be her eldest daughter, Dee, coming home from her friend's house early, unexpectedly. Priscilla also knew that she had somehow miraculously been given one more chance to get away. She was alone. The killer was gone. What was she going to stay there and see if it was her daughter? Maybe, maybe not. Or was she going to go get help?
This is shitty of me, but a part of me thought, I understand why the first thought as a mother, and I'm not one, but is I hope that's not my daughter because there's a killer on the loose. Mm-hmm. But also a part of me then right after that thought, I hope it is my daughter or someone that wants to save me. Right? I don't know. Maybe that's wrong.
No, I don't think there's a right or wrong. I think what she did and went through is, unfortunately, I would honestly do the same thing. I think she thought it was her daughter, but wasn't sure and thought, fuck it, I have to go try and find help. I can't try and save her because I'm not going to save her. I don't have a gun. I have no protection.
Okay, I see. I was thinking that she thought more so the
daughter was going to save her
off and the daughter might save me.
No, I think she was thinking,
I don't want her to get in this scenario.
The killer ran off and is going to kill my daughter.
Right.
So do I go after him or do I go try to find help?
And she found help or went to find help.
So her choice was, I have to go and try and find help. This was the last chance. She was like, you don't get granted. There's an intruder who has murdered Stan. She watched her lover die in front of her eyes. And this is now her second chance to get away. So she was like, this is it. And I have to go and try and get help. And she did. She ran and she found a bush nearby because she was severely injured. So she couldn't go far at a time. So she found a bush to hide behind until she could kind of get her bearings and figure out, what do I do? Where do I go? While she was hiding, she heard the voices. She was outside, and on the other side of the wall, she could hear the voices from the car that had pulled up. She couldn't determine if it was her daughter Dee or not. It turns out it wasn't. It was her daughter Dee's good friend, Beverly Bass. And Beverly thought that Dee was at home that night, so she was coming over to see her.
She was all stopping by to say, hey, what's up?
Exactly.
Thank you, Beverly.
She didn't know that Dee wasn't home.
Or I hope, thank you, Beverly.
Well, it was Beverly and Beverly's boyfriend, Bubba Gavril. And as Priscilla is hiding in the bushes, she's listening to this whole scene unfold where the killer comes out onto the driveway, approaches Beverly and Bubba, shoots Bubba in the spine, at which point Beverly screams and took off running as fast as she fucking could.
Smart girl.
Strangely, this killer did not pursue after Beverly and instead allegedly went back to look for Priscilla. But at this point, after Priscilla heard the gunshot, that's it. Her adrenaline kicked in and she ran about 400 yards through her property to the nearest house, which was the Clifford Jones's house. And she began banging on the doors, begging them to let her in. She apparently said, hello, my name is Priscilla Davis. I live in the big white house in the middle of the field off of Hulen Lane. I'm very severely wounded. My husband, Cullen, is killing everyone. He's killing everyone. He's killing my children. Please let me in. And so the neighbors were a little bit reluctant, truthfully, but they did let her in and they called the paramedics. And by the time the police and the paramedics and ambulances arrived, Priscilla was seemingly calm. so calm that she was speaking about like the events of the night. Just no big deal. Kind of just like recounting the events to police. And police were like, okay, well, could you come to the house with us? Like, we want to take you for a walk around. She said, no, I can't. I've been shot. So they didn't even know that she was shot until like 10, 15 minutes into a conversation where they said, can you come to the house with us? And then she like pulled down her skirt that she had wrapped around her chest and said, no, I can't. I've been shot.
I was going to say she must have tied that denim skirt real well.
Super
also,
tight.
You said something and maybe I missed it. But like she said my ex-husband or husband, Cullen. Yeah. Like you hadn't said that before, that it was Cullen.
No one knows if it was.
Okay. She just said that in that moment.
She assumed it was.
Okay. Thank you. So you said it very kind of like she was all, everything's okay. I'll just recount that. You said it very nonchalantly. Like,
you know what?
Should have I known that?
No, you shouldn't have. And that's totally true because sometimes when I'm telling these stories, I know the whole story. So I really try to tell it from I don't know anything and I'm in your position. But sometimes it's hard.
Oh, sure.
Because
so
I already
knew.
I didn't. That she thought it was him.
Which also,
we don't know that, but she thought it was him.
Right. She said it, and that's the first anyone's heard of that.
Yeah.
Not that he wouldn't have been a suspect anyways.
Sure.
And also, like,
no, that's an important factor. Yeah,
okay.
yeah. So she said, I can't go to the house with you. I've been shot. And they started tending to her wounds. And as they were tending to her wound, she continued to tell them that the man in all black that had tried to kill her was Cullen Davis. She was adamant that it was her ex-husband, soon-to-be ex-husband, sure. Cullen Davis. As paramedics tended to Priscilla, police headed over to her home to investigate. And Priscilla finally felt a sigh of relief. She felt like, okay, it's over. I can breathe. Like this nightmare is over. But sadly...
Yeah, Stan and stuff.
Well, the nightmare is over in the sense that she's not going to be killed.
Oh, okay, yeah. That is good.
Yes.
I appreciate that. And I would say the same. I'm still alive. Yay.
Right. So she was feeling like, I'm alive. I'm okay.
Yep.
But sadly, she had no idea what police were about to find at her home. So upon entering the home, police witnessed a gruesome scene. There was blood everywhere and very clear signs of a brutal struggle that ended in the death of Stan Farr, her boyfriend. And after finding Stan's body, the police continued to search the rest of the house, having no idea that Stan was not the only person that was killed that night. Upon further investigation, police found Andrea, Priscilla's 12-year-old daughter, who had been shot once in the chest and was found laying face up with her eyes wide open, dead on the floor of the basement. Apparently, the man dressed in all black, the intruder, had taken Andrea into the basement, asked her to kneel down on the floor, and then shot her execution style.
Kneel down facing him or them, right? Correct. Because if she went back,
yeah.
Can you? I won't ask.
Yeah. Police also found Bubba Gavril, who had been shot but was not dead, although he ultimately ended up paralyzed.
Remind the listeners who Bubba Gavril is.
Bubba was Beverly's boyfriend. Beverly was Dee's friend, Priscilla's daughter, who kind of drove up looking for Dee and just happened to come upon an awful situation. And then he was paralyzed for life still to this day.
Oh.
Yeah. Priscilla was later quoted as saying, I watched Stan's eyes. I watched him die because she was laying right across from him when he was shot and died. And one of the biggest questions in my mind after hearing this whole thing was like, why? First of all, we don't know who it is. Priscilla is saying that it's Cullen. And so in my head then it was like, well, why kill the daughter? Why kill Andrea? And
maybe she was just caught in some sort of crossfire. And I don't mean like inadvertently shot, but like she's there. She's now a witness. She's seen my mannerisms. I got to kill her. Because it's not that this matters, but Andrea was not Cullen's biological daughter.
Was not. No.
And that's not like, oh, then shoot her up. But like, yeah, maybe she was just there and he was not expecting it. So he thought, fuck it.
She was apparently in Houston for about a month visiting her grandmother and had returned to Fort Worth to the mansion the Sunday night before all of these murders.
And why would he know that if it was Cullen? Why would he know that? Because he was no longer
so he
kind of
may
there.
have been unaware of her return, and her sudden appearance at the scene could have kind of fucked up what his plan was, and he might have had to kill her because this is what was happening. But according to Priscilla, Cullen often talked about how much alike Andrea and Priscilla were. And so it's not super far-fetched that maybe in if Cullen is the killer, which we don't know yet, in a frenzied kind of murderous rage, he maybe mistook Andrea for Priscilla and killed her. That seems a little far-fetched for me, but that was one theory that was floated around.
Can I give another theory?
Sure.
Of not was she just caught, he didn't expect her to be there, and so then he's like, oh shit, she's here, so best thing I can do to not be caught is kill her. And not mistaking her for his ex-wife. The middle option for me would be maybe she had a lot of the same... she reminded him of his ex-wife, and he didn't like that.
Yep.
And in a moment of rage and emotion mind, he's all, fuck you.
Yep.
I mean, I have no idea, but I hope I'm going to find out. And now I feel like, am I not going to find out?
Well, we're going to find out something. But before we move on to finding out more, I will say that one friend of Priscilla's said that Andrea was just beautiful. She was the kindest heart in the world and everybody's favorite. She was even Cullen's favorite. This friend said that Dee could have provoked Cullen to a level of murderous rage, but never Andrea. Not Andrea.
You don't want to miss what happens next in today's murder story, so don't go anywhere. We'll be right back after a short message from our sponsors.
So all of this at this point is incredibly kind of confusing, confounding. Who was it? Priscilla's saying Cullen. Nobody knows anything. And this is kind of where the real mystery begins.
I thought the mystery started a long time ago, but okay.
So Priscilla was adamant that the killer was her ex / soon to be ex, a little bit gray there, Cullen Davis. She told law enforcement that she pleaded for her life to the intruder, who she believed to be Cullen, saying, Cullen, I love you. I never loved anyone else. Why are you doing this? But the killer didn't react at all when she said that. So police also seemed to believe that it was Cullen, and they started searching for him. According to later testimony, Cullen's older brother, Ken, called him and said, do you know what's happened? And Cullen was kind of like, no, what's happened? And Ken said, Priscilla's been shot and other people have been shot at your house and killed. And Cullen was kind of like, well, okay, I'm not there. I don't know what you want me to do. He was nonchalant about it. He seemed really unfazed by the news.
Which makes him seem initially
a little more guilty. So later that night, police found him, picked him up, and arrested him. But Cullen stood by the fact that he was at the movies alone all night, and especially at the time of the murders. So Cullen was charged with the murder of Andrea Wilborn only, not Stan. That's a lookup list. I don't know why, but he was only charged for the murder of Andrea. He quickly posted bond and hired a shark of a lawyer named Richard Racehorse Haynes, who was known for being the best of the best when it came to courtroom trials. And that was kind of proven in the fact that he managed to get Cullen out of having to testify, claiming that there was no hard evidence connecting Cullen to the crime. Priscilla, however, did testify. She clearly told the court that she saw Cullen that night. It was Cullen who was there, who shot her, who shot Stan.
Also, I'm sure it was because Cullen was convicted of at least one murder. Andrea.
He was charged.
Charged, yes. Wasn't he wearing like trash bag hands and shit?
Yes, he was.
Like,
so he was in
why
black.
did she think it was him?
Okay, so this is my biggest question that I couldn't find, and it deserves a deeper dive, is that he was said to be wearing a black women's wig with bangs and stuff, black trash bags on his hands. What I was wondering the whole time is like, was he wearing a face mask?
I imagine he was. I have to imagine he was if he covered up his hands. I guess there were no cameras back then, CCTV and shit.
Nope.
But still, like nowhere in what you saw, she was like, I saw his face.
No. But she did say that it was him that she saw that night.
Yeah.
But that's the missing piece for me was his face displayed? Because if his face was open and you saw him, then...
But guess what? It didn't matter apparently for convicting him of Andrea's murder, right?
Well, yeah, because it did. It seemed like a very straightforward case. A clear culprit with a clear reason to commit this crime.
What was the clear reason?
Jealousy.
To kill the daughter?
Well, no, not to kill the daughter.
She was just in the crossfire.
Right.
Yeah.
But I think what the prosecution was trying to prove was like she was in the crossfire, but he was ultimately going after Priscilla.
You always look at the husband first. That's what I hear.
He was
the husband, the soon-to-be ex-husband.
She's living in this $1 million house.
She's
dating
with someone
a younger
else.
dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course. But as time passed and the case kind of developed, which into what was at the time one of the most remarkable trials ever in Texas. I mean, this was huge. Her testimony just wasn't enough. There was no concrete proof connecting Cullen to the crime. The murder weapon was never found. There were no fingerprints, no footprints, no tire tracks, no bloody clothing, the wig, the plastic garbage bags on the hands. None of it was ever found. Never. Nothing. So there was nothing immediately linking him, no hard evidence linking him to this. So he was found innocent by a jury.
But not of Andrea's murder.
Yes, of Andrea's murder.
Oh, who got convicted of Andrea? Didn't you just say that?
No one.
No one's been convicted of any murder. Okay.
As of this point in the story, no.
Right.
So he was found not guilty of Andrea's murder because nothing could concretely connect him to it.
And Stan's murder.
And I don't know why. Honestly, that is a great lookup list. It's something that I didn't dive deep into because the story is already so deep. Like, why wasn't he charged with Stan's murder? Just Andrea's.
Okay, thank you. That's what I just said. He was charged with Andrea's murder.
Yes, he was charged for the murder of Andrea, but he was found innocent.
Okay, thank you. I need that distinction.
Yes.
Charged but not convicted.
Exactly.
Thank you.
But he was never charged with Stan's murder. No one was. Why? So Cullen was found innocent, set free. And for a while he thought, great, it's over. But 2 years later in 1978, Cullen was then arrested again for supposedly hiring a hitman to kill Priscilla and to kill the judge who was overseeing their ongoing divorce battle. Allegedly, Cullen had schemed this whole plot to kill Judge Joe Edison and Priscilla. And the evidence for this came from an FBI agent who went undercover and acted as a hitman and got in contact with Cullen and worked with him and took photos of the judge, and I'm saying this with air quotes, dead in a car trunk. Like they made the judge look dead. This undercover agent took pictures and brought them to Cullen and said, along with some of the judge's personal items, and said the judge is dead. And Cullen Davis apparently replied, good. And Cullen even gave an envelope of cash, apparently $25,000, to the FBI agent and told him, thanks for taking care of the judge. And these are more people that I want you to kill, including Beverly Bass, Dee's friend who pulled up to the house that night on August 2nd.
Wait, is that Bubba's girlfriend?
Yes.
Bubba's paralyzed.
Bubba's paralyzed.
Bubba.
Yeah. Really unfortunate place and time, right? Yeah. And so apparently all of this was caught on video and audio tape. This undercover FBI agent acting as a hitman, conspiring with Cullen to kill people in exchange of cash. I mean, this seems open shut. This was all caught on video/audio. Seems to me, as I'm reading this, I'm like, this guy's toast. Done. 100%. Open shut. No.
Well, the way you said it, I knew it was going to be a no.
No. He was acquitted. At his second trial, Cullen testified in this trial, and he said, I didn't actually want the judge or Priscilla dead. I was just playing along because I knew Priscilla was setting me up and framing me. So I was just playing along. And unfortunately, the jury on this second trial for Cullen deadlocked, and the judge declared a mistrial, and Cullen once again went free.
Now, if a mistrial happens, does that not mean they'll have another trial at some point, or no?
They could, but they haven't.
It's not guaranteed. What? Oh, he's free and maybe dead by now?
He's free.
Not dead.
He's free.
No one was convicted.
No one was convicted of any of these murders.
Wow.
Nothing.
That's
shocking.
Annoying
and shocking. Yeah. The killer still is supposedly at large if it's not Cullen. And
But if it is Cullen, he's still at large, right?
He is.
Right. So either which way, they're at large or dead.
Yes.
Not behind bars.
Right. And so quickly after these trials, this D magazine, which just has amazing art. I don't know what this is. I'd never read it before, but it's a great publication if anyone wants to read it.
What kind of publication is it? It's a magazine, but like, what is it, like a true crime situation?
It's a magazine. It's a Dallas magazine. And the tagline is, let's make Dallas even better. So a couple weeks after the murder, they published something, and these are just a couple lines from it. It said, quickly, the actual crime was old news. As people tried to forget the killing of a 12-year-old girl, the murder became not a whodunit, but a gleeful trespass into the private lives of Fort Worth's rich black sheep. Because they were kind of
different.
Yeah, exactly. So the town of Fort Worth split into two camps. The Priscilla camp centered on close friends who defended her adamantly. One woman who actually was supposed to be staying at the house that night and had canceled at the last minute said, I adore her. Priscilla's been very good to me. If she knew you were a pint low on blood, she'd give you a gallon. And I'll tell you another thing. If I read one more distorted version of this thing, I'll come after you with a shotgun. I'm serious.
Oh, that's a great thing to say during this time.
Another person involved said, Cullen knew when he did this that the liars of Fort Worth, Texas would eat her up. The men would drool, but the woman would grind her up like a cheese grinder. Cullen's camp was not really so much pro-Cullen as it was anti-Priscilla. Cullen's backers wondered aloud why he hadn't shot her a long time ago. It all kind of followed a common theme. As one of Priscilla's critics put it, all she ever did was create problems. She's gone from white trash to millionaires on a fake pair of tits. I mean, harsh. I just thought those were really interesting quotes, a well-written little snippet. But yes, Cullen was acquitted. No one else was ever charged or found for these murders. And, flash forward to today, Priscilla, she ultimately died from breast cancer in, I believe, 2001. She never remarried. She just kind of lived a very quiet, lonely life after all this happened.
Or maybe a quiet, pleasing life.
Perhaps.
Because it sounded like prior, she had like a lot of relational drama.
Very much so.
So maybe it was just like lonely, but
Take
good.
a deep breath.
Yeah.
So Cullen is still alive today, never convicted of a crime, and more than 40 years later still maintains his innocence.
Is he still in Fort Worth? Do you know?
He is. During a recent phone interview in 2019 with Forbes, Forbes asked him his theory on who the true killer was, and he said, "I have no possible idea." At 85 years old in 2019, so a bit older now, he was residing in a small home near Fort Worth. He experienced significant financial loss during the oil industry crash of the 1980s. And despite his place in Texas history, people seem to have shifted their focus elsewhere. Most people aren't talking about this. And when Forbes asked, do people come to you asking about this and whatnot, Cullen said, "It's been at least 25 years since I've had any conversation about this topic at all."
So Cullen, hold on. I'm coming over to ask you shit. I got questions, man.
No kidding.
I bet we could find his.
Absolutely.
I mean, I guess that's not a smart thing. I'm not going to roll up on his property, but that's interesting. He hasn't been asked in a while. He's an older man, and I don't want to take advantage of that. And also, come on, what's the real if you're about to move on beyond this physical earth? Interesting
that you say that, because John Farr, the son of Stan Farr, recently, semi-recently, 2016 is when this article was from, he came out publicly and said he forgives Cullen for the murders. He still believes that Cullen is culpable and did do it. And he filed a wrongful death suit against Cullen and for $1.8 million. Cullen never paid it. Nothing has come of it. But John Farr, Stan's son, even went as far as to spend a night at Cullen's home. And I have another specific quote from this D magazine. And so it says, John Farr admits that there was a moment as the garage door came rattling down when he thought spending a night at the home of his father's alleged killer might not be such a good idea. Farr drove down from Kansas City in March to meet with Cullen Davis, believed by many to be the infamous Man in Black responsible for gunning down 4 people at his Fort Worth mansion 40 years ago. 4 people were shot and 2 were killed, a 12-year-old girl and John Farr's dad. John Farr said, "I came into the garage, bag in hand, and as the garage door came down, the thought did cross my mind, John, you've had some crazy ideas, but this may be one of the dumbest things you've done in your life. If he did shoot my dad and commit the crime, he could shoot me in my sleep." But John was a man on a mission. And the 43-year-old software engineer still holds a $1.8 million judgment against Cullen Davis, and said that he came into town to look the former millionaire in the eye and tell him that he forgave him, that he's there if he wants to get anything off his chest. But Cullen did not.
I have so many questions about that 12 hours. I'm imagining it was mostly just 12 hours. He went there, they chitty-chatted, he went to bed, they woke up, they chitty-chatted, and then John Farr went on his way. But still, that's
heavy.
Interesting as heck.
Yeah, it sure is. It sure is. And the final little bit of information is about just the mansion, that huge mansion.
13,000 square feet.
Yes. So as of 2021, developers are planning to demolish the mansion and potentially turn it into a retirement tower, office space, condos. They don't know, but they're planning to demolish it prior to this recent buyout by a Stonegate Boulevard property. The mansion had been a Mexican restaurant for a period of time, which I have so many questions about, and then also used for wedding venues, which makes sense. So that was in 2021 that it was supposed to be demolished. It was planned to be demolished by the end of 2022. So we'll have to follow up on that and see if it was.
So no one was ever convicted?
No. Stan Farr and Andrea Wilborn's murders are still unsolved to this day. I don't know. I just found this to be quite the fascinating stories. It is. It really is one of my favorites. I'm not sure why, but I kind of just picture this kind of old 70s Texas glamour, and it's tragic and it's awful. And again, it's a story, but it is people's lives. I know that. But this one, I don't know. This one stuck out to me. So
You like it?
I liked it. I did. I hope you guys liked it.
I liked it. I don't like that. I don't know who did it.
I know.
Also, I think even if someone's not convicted, some loved ones, family members, friends, support people, like they know whether or not the person was convicted. And I'm not saying this person or this person should have been convicted. I'm just saying a lot of times I think people know. She's yawning.
I think Cullen did it. I think maybe he didn't do it himself, but I think he, at the very least, hired somebody to do it.
Well, that's why I said I'm going to march on over there.
Fort Worth, let's go.
If you did it, I hope you don't have a good afterlife, even though I'm not sure that happens, but whatever.
Fair enough. So no good afterlife for Cullen Davis. And
well, no, if that person did it.
Okay.
And I'm not convinced of anything because I don't know.
Okay, fair.
Happy Wednesday. Sleep well, folks.
Yeah, thanks for listening, guys. Say your piece.
Good night and good luck. Hug your loved ones. Sleep well.
Set your security alarms.
Well, I don't have any, but
lock your
trust
doors.
your gut. Trust your gut.
That's right.
Tell your loved ones.
Okay. Night, guys. Thanks for
Bye-bye.
listening. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Death by Southwest is hosted by Jenna Schneider and Margot Carmichael.
Executive produced by Margot Carmichael.
Produced by Jenna Schneider.
Audio editing and sound design by Margot Carmichael.
Music by Soundstripe.
And a special thanks to Edward R. Murrow for letting us borrow his famous sign-off phrase, good night and good luck.